8 minutes after the hour of 3 o'clock. It is a Wednesday, April the 19th, 1989. Would have been my mother's birthday today had she still lived. Did you ever... You guys don't know, do you? You just do not understand what it is like to walk around with the kind of mind that I have. I mean, Sam McClellan calls me the Dr. Moriarty of talk radio.
Bobby
You know, clearly because I find a dark lining to every silver cloud. But it is, it's not my fault. I don't put them there. Have you stopped to consider what kind of an effect it would have on the world if indeed this tabletop nuclear reactor comes to be? Can you begin to imagine the tens of millions of people that would be put out of work worldwide? Millions in our own country. The entire oil industry just wiped out. All of those people that learned how to fix combustion engines wiped out. Because it'll change the automobile as well. It'll, in essence, turn it back into a Stanley steamer. All of those people gone. All the gas stations gone. All of the people that make drill bits gone. All of the people that cook meals on oil platforms gone. Then on top of that, close to 1 billion people living in the Middle East whose primary source of income is oil. Gone, wiped out. But I guess you never stop to think of that.
Bobby boy.
But is it not an incredibly interesting concept? A little bit of seawater, a couple of wires.
Bobby boy, we're moving you in here where I can talk with you.
Well, certainly not without its problems. Just thought I'd mention those.
You.
Not that I want to make any big deal out of it, but I just thought I would mention it because I was sitting around this morning thinking, oh, God, this is really great, I can hardly wait. And then I thought about, Louisiana and Texas and Oklahoma and Saudi Arabia, and on and on and on and on and on and on the list goes. And how drastically it would affect the world.
Taking me long to do
and how many
this job.
tens of millions of people, possibly hundreds of millions of people, as far as I know, throughout the entire world, whose lives would be changed forever.
Forever.
All those people with investments in Exxon. Oh, but that's not what I really came here to talk to you about today.
Yeah.
What is there to talk about?
I don't know.
Insofar as that's concerned. Do you remember a few weeks ago when the machinists went out on strike at Eastern Airlines?
Yeah.
A fair amount of talk. We did a couple of days on it right here on this station.
This here broadcast.
A lot of stuff in the newspapers, and then some of us met out at the airport to, kind of give whatever encouragement, a lot of time it's worth, whatever encouragement there might be to give. And are you serious with what you want to correct me about? Oh, good. Lady, I know I say the word wrong. I've always said the word wrong. The hell with it. It's the least of the problems in this. Wait a second. Lady, get lost. It's the least of the problems in the world how I pronounce the word nuclear, okay? I know it's nuclear. I can't say nuclear. I can only say nuclear. Now, good day, madam. Good God almighty, the world's about to go to hell in a handbasket. And this old boat...
Nuclear rush!
Lassiter intelligence says nuclear rush!
Nuclear rush!
I know, just like Jerry Ford knows about judgment. There are some things that are just so ingrained, so burnt into the little
dollar bill
that you can't
Bradley.
change them. I'm very well aware of it. You're at least the 2,597th person who's tried to tell me. And
So,
it's amazing that the only time
fuck
I've
off.
heard from you in 3.5 years
Yes.
is to tell me that I say the word nuclear wrong.
Nah.
I know I do. Unbelievable. Where was I?
Unbelievable.
Anyway, we're
Hello?
talking about the machinists.
Clear.
They went out on strike. Many of you seem to support them, especially in view of the fact that this was a clear-cut case of a guy, a speculator, coming in and dismantling a company for his own personal profit without any regard whatsoever for the employees that had been there 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 years in some cases. No regard for them whatsoever. This was one guy who wanted to get rich. He wanted to get filthy rich, and he didn't care if he was
Who's Ringo? And you owe me $5 grand, Bob.
And you were very supportive of those very, very
And I'm going to
brave
get my
and
car cleaned today.
the machinist union, the pilots union.
And I'm going to get my head clean.
Employees finally standing up to this man, to this concept, not just Frank Lorenzo, but to the entire concept of this country. But people don't matter, that workers don't matter, that the only thing that matters is making a profit. And a lot of you stood up and said, hey, boy, I wish I had the gazungas that they have. These people are risking it all.
Coolions.
My God, it's about time that somebody did. It's about time that somebody stood up to the icons, to the Lorenzos, to all these corporate raiders, and said, no, damn it, people are more important than your miserable profits. Take your dollar bills and shove them where the sun don't shine.
Yeah! He's better than Rush. Limbo head. Combination between Willard Scott
is wrestling with the question of whether or not to
the
allow
weatherman.
Eastern Airlines
You're
employees,
the best, Bob.
those striking and those not striking, to collect unemployment insurance. Plain and simple, what do you think? A couple of things to take into consideration here. First of all, unemployment insurance is one of the more seriously misunderstood items in American life. I've heard people say, well, I've paid into that for 27 years.
But
You've never paid a penny into it. Your employer.
I'm dead,
But
but
that's a
I'm still
technicality
calling
business.
you. I'm in the graveyard
It
band.
really isn't your employer. It's a cost of doing business, just like your salary is, that your employer takes into consideration. So while there is not a little line on your pay stub that says unemployment insurance for the week of April 12th, you still pay into it nonetheless. Just like you don't.
You know, you can't do that
7.51%
Rush
in
squeaky
Social Security
voice, Bob,
taxes,
so
you
you're
pay
not
15.02
qualified.
because again, it's a cost of doing business, and then your employer figures this into his cost just like he does your salary. So it really is your money.
My money, boy. Give me my money, my money.
It's not. It's J4's money. It's RCA's money. It's
Whoa.
IBM's money. It's
No, it really is your money. Jay Ford, IBM, and
You'll
Joe
be making
Schuster,
noise
they
later,
favor
punching down
the
wires,
state.
ballooning Bob.
But it's really your money.
Now you're just screwing them in,
Now, this
Jimmy.
legislation that is being considered in Tallahassee is actually kind of hoodwinkle legislation. Let's be honest about it. In essence, what it says is that people who are employed by a company that goes bankrupt can collect unemployment because they're out of work. And in essence, what again they're saying is that, well, gee, even if they wanted to, people at Eastern couldn't go back to work because the company has filed Chapter 11 or whatever it is that they file. I think it's 11. Can't keep up with all the chapters. I don't know it all.
Chapter and verse.
By the way, just as an aside, one of the most valuable lessons that any of those people out there who do talk shows that listen to me could ever learn is know what you don't know. Never be afraid to admit it. But nonetheless, getting away from myself, what do you think? Here are these brave men and women, standing up to the likes of Lorenzo. Are you willing to share unemployment insurance compensation with them so that maybe, it's not a hell of a lot of money, but maybe it might be enough to keep them from losing the house, to keep them from having to, to bring the kid home from college. It might be enough to keep them from going bankrupt themselves. Are you willing to let them have it? You see, your state legislature is going to vote next week on whether or not, in the state senate, next week they're going to vote on whether or not to let the Eastern Airlines people collect state unemployment insurance.
I have to move you again, Bob. We're going in for the kill.
If you were to suddenly come down in favor of
Well, I can make some
the
ethanol.
Eastern strikers.
I don't know.
I mean, surely you're sick and tired of those miserable corporate raiders, aren't you? I mean, surely you've just about had it up to here with the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of jobs that have been eliminated in the last 8 years from corporate takeover. Now the opponents say, whoa, no, we can't do this because this would allow employees at any time to stand up and say, well, no, we're going to tell you how to run the business by going out on strike and getting unemployment insurance. Of course, there was also some other bozo that said, well, yeah, well, this is a lot of labor just go out on strike.
You run in here and get sweated up again.
Unemployment you can collect in the state of Florida. It's not enough to make it worth your while to go out on strike on. Unless, of course, you're a low-income worker, but then you get even less. So it's a relatively small percentage of what your gross actually is. But that's neither here nor there. There are a lot of young people in Tallahassee. And I just thought I would mention that to you to see if your heart really is in the right place, if you really are willing to help these people out. Because these people just might make it so miserable for the corporate takeover artists. These people might make it so costly for the corporate takeover artist that corporate takeover artist who is eyeing your company may decide that there's an easier way to make money than to buy some existing company and squeeze a lot of good men and women out of work. So maybe, just maybe, speaking up this afternoon might help. Might help influence one of those state senators to vote to allow the Eastern people to collect unemployment insurance while this disaster, this mess is being sorted out in the bankruptcy courts. Let me give you the telephone numbers. 461-9352 in Pinellas, 461-WFLA. In Hillsborough, 990-9352, 990-WFLA. One additional thing, not really so much a topic of conversation, but I saw this in the Tampa trip this morning, and I tell you, I don't know how I was able to drive the car in this afternoon because my thigh was black and blue from slapping it and gagging. It's in the outdoors section. And it says, the headline, NRA contends Soviet action proves the point. The confiscation last week of some 66,000 registered guns by police in Soviet Georgia has National Rifle Association members around the nation saying, I told you so! That's a barefaced lie. The National Rifle Association has always told us the first thing the communists do when they come in is take all the guns. The National Rifle Association did not know that 66,000 people in the Soviet state of Georgia had guns. They just made it up. Well, no, nobody in the Soviet Union has guns. Yeah, you see, in a communist country, you're not allowed to have a gun. Fibber, fibber, fibbers, fibber, fibber, fibbers. If there's one thing my 43 years have taught me is that you can't depend on anything. You just don't. I was talking to a man this morning and he said, where do you think you're going to be in 2 years? I said, what are you kidding me or something? 2 years? I'm not so sure where I'm going to be tomorrow. It's just the way that life is. Things happen that you don't expect to happen. The best laid plans sometimes go awry.
For 2 days straight.
It isn't really fair that because life is strange and because unexpected things come up that you shouldn't be able to afford a house or that you shouldn't be able to afford to send your kids to school because of something that happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even a year ago. Something that was unexpected. House is real important. Sending your kid to school is real important. Putting an addition on that home. These are all very, very important things. And just because something happened a few years ago to mess up your credit rating shouldn't keep you from having what you want. It doesn't have to. You see, if you have good credit, bad credit, slow credit, even no credit, the people at Town & Country Mortgage and Investment Corporation can help. Town & Country Mortgage and Investment Corporation. Please do not forget that name. If you're in the market for a first mortgage or a second mortgage or even a third mortgage or a home improvement loan, or even if you want to make an investment in commercial real estate, if it's a good idea, if it's for a good cause, then Town & Country Mortgage and Investment Corporation will be there to help you. Let me give you the telephone number, please. 264-2648. That's 264-2648. They're located at 14502 North Dale Mabry Highway. Town & Country Mortgage and Investment Corporation, a licensed mortgage broker. Low rates, fast service, terms to fit your needs. Town & Country, don't forget them. Well, this is astonishing. Astonishing. There is a whole call on the Fenordner, an entire call waiting for us to take it. I guess all the rest of the stuff that I said just went over your heads. I love it. I cannot wait for the first SOB. I know it's going to happen sometime. I cannot wait for the first SOB, and I do not use the initials lightly, to call me and start crying about a corporate takeover that shoved him or her out of work. I am going to refer them to the Eastern Machinists Union, if there's still one left, and ask you to cry to them.
That's right.
Tampa, you're on there at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic you had
No,
today.
it's not. It's boring the hell out of everybody. You're the only call on the board. What did you have to say?
All right. Well, I just want to tell you, I'm a student at HCC right now, and we have just been talking about a similar subject like this in my sociology class.
Yeah.
In respect, we're talking, when we talk about about running our government, and, the people and running, the things are supposed to affect the whole world and stuff, we're so into this democratic system, where we vote, where we have, we want people that we've chosen, to run our government. But when it comes to running big business and running an economic system, that really affects the whole world and affects our own lives, we leave it in a small portion of the elite, in that respect of wanting, but yet in our democracy.
I'm not sure I know what you mean by that. Who should be running it?
I'm saying in the respect, we have voters that, we vote to choose our leaders, and and we believe that that's the best form of government. And you could compare large business almost to a form of government because I think 3,000 to 5,000 of America's big businesses are larger than. They're only small. 3,000 to 5,000 of America's businesses are bigger than 3/4 of the world's countries.
Well, right. That's all fine and well, but I'm still very, very confused. Are you, in essence, in favor of them getting unemployment insurance or not?
Well, I'm not.
I thought that's what I was talking about. Perhaps I was a bit esoteric.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking.
Oh, it's okay.
I was thinking just more in the respect of, as the people, as the employer, of the employees not having a say in the in the business. You're talking in that respect how they can't have a say, in the corporate takeovers, and then like that, and maybe a system, maybe we need a restructured system, where the employees of a company have more of a say of what goes on and what happens, just like how we have a say in our government of what can go on.
Well, there are many, many enlightened employers in this country that do give a great deal of attention to what employees have to say concerning how businesses might be run. I certainly would not want to live in a country where it was legislated that was the way. But by the same token, I don't think it is beyond the realm of reason in this nation to have certain legislation that favors labor as well as business, as opposed to favoring business over labor.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with you. In that respect, that was just my comment.
Well,
I feel that we're just kind of hypocritical. And, I thought that was kind of hypocritical. We want to put all our trust in the elite to run the nation's business, in the top economic thing. We don't want and the employees really don't have much to say. But then when it comes, to running our government, which is big also, we demand it. We think it's absolutely necessary. We wouldn't dare have just a small group of elite people running our government, where we didn't have any type of say.
I thank you very much.
Okay.
Be good.
Okay, bye-bye.
By the way, just for the fun of it, since I'm, bombing on this one, let me bomb on a second one, too. Let me just lay another one out there for you to squirm with. Remember that 66,000 guns in the Soviet state of Georgia that, and the NRA saying, oh, this is so terrible, you see, we told you that's what happened, we told you. Let us suppose that a large ethnic group, for example, let's say the city of Tampa, a large ethnic group of, let's say, just for the purposes of this conversation, Cubans living in Ybor City, decided that they didn't want to be part of Tampa, or Florida, or the United States. And suppose they started demonstrating very, very strongly, and there were whispers about violence and possible revolution. Would you like to sit there and tell me that you wouldn't like to see all of the guns taken away from the Cubans until they calm down? Sure, tell me that you wouldn't. Okay, let's see what we have here. Oh, St. Petersburg. Hi there, St. Peter. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, I hate your show.
Great.
And I hate you, too.
Fantastic.
And I wanted, how long are you going to keep discussing the same rotten old topics you've talked about for 3.5 years?
Until I drive you away. Okay, let's go to Lutz. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
I think they should get unemployment. I don't think they will, but I think they should.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
Well, New Yorkers, you can't have...
most likely call John Grant.
John Grant? Who's John Grant?
My representative, my senator, state senator.
Okay.
And...
Promise?
Yes. By the way, I did call that number at the bottom of the Outdoor Sergeant's article to register my opposition.
Oh, the NRA article, yeah.
Yeah, I did call the number.
God, that just amused me. That really made my morning. See, we told you so.
Mm-hmm.
When they told us the exact opposite.
But I think in the state of Florida, I don't think, just like the last caller, sounded like a fairly young guy. I mean, not retired, let's put it that way. And with the income being what it is for the average person of Florida, the man probably doesn't drive an expensive car and doesn't live in an expensive home, and probably is like most of us, you know, just trying to make it from paycheck to paycheck. And to hate you because you tend to stand up for the working man is something I don't understand.
Well, so we're just dealing with a very, sick little boy there. Someone who is probably best described as a self-mutilator who just likes to sit at home and flaunt his dong and listen to the Lassiter show.
But I think that the state probably will refuse it because of the anti-union sentiments that I find in the state. And I also feel that any state that would take the stance of, drug testing potential people are going to get driver's license.
Actually, that was turned down. They're not going to do that.
Well, that would even consider this.
Every state has its lunatics that submits legislation that's just insane.
Well,
we're not alone in that.
I think we have a little bit more than our share of lunatics in office, especially those who live in the Panhandle. With the bumper sticker law and things such as that. But I have one question to ask you.
What's that?
When it comes to gun control, this is something I've never been able to understand. Maybe you can give me your opinion on it. It seems as if the NRA wants absolutely no restrictions on guns. They don't want a weighting limit. They do not want where you have to go in and fill out a paper, and they don't want enough time for the police officers to check to make sure that you are not a mental case and you have not been convicted of drug or alcoholism or whatever. Is that true?
Well,
basically.
All right. What I don't understand, they keep saying that cars kill more people than guns, and people aren't trying to take away cars.
Right.
But before, my son is 15, and he's going to be 15, and we're going to start teaching him to drive. He's going to take driver's ed, and he's going to get his learner's permit. And then when he's 16, he's going to go in and take a test that proves he's competent to drive the car. And when we go to register his, to buy a car, we're going to have to prove that we do have insurance in case, not only to protect him, but to protect the other citizens of the state of Florida. And no one seems to think that's outrageous. What I don't understand is, I'm not for taking guns away, but I would hope that anyone who has a gun should have to be able to prove they're proficient in the use of that firearm so that I'm not injured because they're stupid to go out and shoot it in their backyard. I would hope that each person who has a gun would have to have insurance so that in case they make a mistake...
Well, insurance, proficient, et cetera, not too many of us are shot because somebody just who owns a gun goes out and shoots wildly in the backyard. The NRA always tells us, as you've already pointed out, that guns don't kill people. People kill people. Well, all right, I'm willing to compromise. I don't want to register any guns. I don't want to impound any guns. It's just that, when a guy walks into the store to buy a gun, since we already know that people kill people, let's register him and let's impound him for a few weeks until we can make sure that, he's cool.
Yeah, but
so, what, isn't that a great compromise? Well, all the guns you want, we'll just impound the people who want them.
I have no problem with that, but what I'm saying is the young kid in Sarasota that was killed because the father stored a loaded gun underneath his son's bed.
Yeah, what about it?
And there was no criminality in that at all. There was absolutely nothing that could be done by the
Sir, there was no criminality in something like 85% of the gun deaths in this country until the death occurs.
Well, what I'm saying is, if I would happen to leave the keys in my car, and my 14-year-old next-door neighbor would take the car and then run over somebody in my neighborhood, I certainly would be very, very much in trouble for doing that.
Well, sir, if your kid takes the next-door neighbor's gun, he's going to be in trouble too. You can still sue him. Just like you have to sue him when he takes your cars, the car keys. What's the bottom line here? I got to move on.
Well, I was just curious whether or not the NRA was opposed to people registering guns.
I don't know, sir. I don't know a damn thing about the NRA, but I thank you very much. I don't think anybody does. Clearwater, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Jay Marvin's show is a hell of a lot better than yours, by the way.
Well, how come you're not listening
Well, I am. I got them both on.
Right.
People ought to listen to that show more often.
What's he talking about this afternoon?
Jay Marvin show. WTKN.
What's he talking about this afternoon? Don't know, do you liar? That's okay. It's 3:36 in the afternoon. I don't know what the hell is the matter with you people. You run in cycles where we can't bat you away with a baseball bat for calls, and then there are other times there's nothing and not a damn thing I can do to entice you. And to tell you the truth, well, I am going to tell you the truth. I'm a very insecure man. I am an incredibly insecure man. And I sometimes walk out of this studio saying, I can't do it anymore. Damn it, I have lost it. I can't do it anymore. I've done my best. Well, I know better than that. It's not me, it's you guys. And I ain't going to do a damn thing to entice you this afternoon. Good. I'm going to put my damn feet up here on the chair. You either want to talk or you don't want to talk. I don't give a you-know-what. Oh, now they're going to call. Oh, now they're going to call, Mikey. Hey, after... Hey, I don't want to talk to you. Get lost, Sulphur Springs. Where were you before? Clearwater, to hell with you. You should have called earlier. Now I'll give the telephone numbers. 461-9352. 990-9352. You guys figure out which damn counties they belong to. Play some commercials, Michael.
Yeah. Dad, we're missing a game.
Don't seem to be able to deal with anything else other than chicha-ava, or you're all schmuckas. You know what I mean? You're all mediocre, baby.
Schmuckas.
And
So I know.
I've asked Michael to see if he can't find a comb and a piece of wax paper, and I'm going to get a Jew's harp and plung on that, and we'll talk about some of the best places in South Pinellas to get Dusty Rhodes ice cream, and we'll all reminisce about some of the best drummers in folk rock groups. And don't worry about any of these other things that I've brought up. To hell with those poor bastards down there risking their lives for you. Yeah, that's in essence what they're doing. They're risking their economic lives for you. To hell with them. Hey, you jerks! You're all jerks in the Machinists Union! The hell with you! Rot in the gutter! These people don't care! Go back and lick Lorenzo's boots! Beg and plead with him, because these people ain't gonna help you! And, let's see, what else did we mention? Oh, yeah. Hey, good going, NRA! You screwed them again! They're too stupid to remember what you said the last time! So, where are some of the best places in South Pinellas to get Dusty Rhodes ice cream, and who were some of your favorite drummers and folk rock groups between the years of 1965 and 1971? Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yeah, I've been locked out before from strikes, and I wonder if those people at Eastern ever got those bad checks honored that they got for the last week's work.
Who gives a good damn, sir? Let's go to Clearwater. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
How you doing?
Terrible. What's your problem, fella?
You sound awful happy. Well, I was going to sit here and give my piece about the Machinists, too, but it sounds like you don't...
Too late. Clearwater, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
I just wanted to ask a question about if you were being employed and your employer offered you some benefits, and one of the benefits he offered
Call Chuck Harder, sir. I don't know anything about that. Where can we get good ice cream in South Pinellas? 461-9352 in Hillsborough, 990-9352 in Pinellas. Who were some of your favorite drummers, huh? What do I have to give you the phone numbers again? You forgot them already? 461-9352 in Hillsborough, 990-9352 in Pinellas.
He's a real mad dog today.
Oh, Bobby's mad at us. Oh, I don't understand why Bobby's mad. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm just one person. Oh, boy. Where are some of those favorite ice cream parlors of yours, huh?
I think
we'll call up Michael Serio and curse at him. That'll show Bobby.
I'll move you in here.
What the hell's the matter with you people? Why do we have to go through these kind of, gestures with you?
Because you're so mean.
St. Petersburg, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob.
Yeah.
Ginger Baker.
Great.
Great drummer.
Yeah.
Great, fantastic.
Did you ever hear him?
No.
You ever heard of him?
No. I don't pay attention to drummers' names, I wouldn't know whether or not I had.
Oh, he was a drummer for Cream. Played with Eric Clapton and Jack Bruce.
Great. I'll tell the people at the Eastern Strike Line when they're going bankrupt all about him.
That'll keep marching better.
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's go to Auburndale. Hi, you're on the air at 970 Let's go to Tampa. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Lassiter, you're on your way out, pal.
No, sir. Just signed a new contract. Tough luck.
Hey!
Let's go to St. Petersburg. St. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hey, Bob.
Hi.
Want to know where to get some great ice cream?
Yeah, sure.
Fort DeSoto Beach, the snack shop.
Uh-huh.
You know where Fort DeSoto Beach is?
Yeah, I do.
Well, there's a snack shop there.
I would imagine that there's, if you're calling it the Fort DeSoto Beach snack shop, I can put that much together.
Okay.
Maybe the rest of the audience can't, but I guess that's why you did it, for their benefit, not mine.
Yeah, you're right. The best drummer, I think, back from the 60s, John Densmore, The Doors.
Fantastic.
Any other questions?
Nope. Flat City, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Bob.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you're doing a great job today. Wake these people up, man.
Okay, let's try Clear. Water High Clear, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Mr. Lassiter, how are you? I just wanted to say that I think that they ought to get unemployment benefits.
Oh,
Where the hell were you 10 minutes ago?
down
I don't
here.
care what you think now about unemployment benefits. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference to me what you think about unemployment benefits. You see, you people are just beyond belief. Almost all of you are subject to getting caught in a squeeze like those people at Eastern did. Damn, every one of you. And since it isn't happening to you, and it's too much trouble for you guys to voice your support for them. Clearwater, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Jim Bob. And I just want to turn you on to some good ice cream. They're called Gold Rush bars.
Great.
Yeah, they're really good.
Great.
Yeah, find them in your supermarket.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Let's go to, let's see here, St. Petersburg. St. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Yes, I'm calling about the ice cream.
Great.
Tricycle K, they got drummer sticks too.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Okay, anytime. 990-9352 in Hillsborough. 461-9352 in Pinellas for your favorite place to eat ice cream or your favorite drummer from a folk rock group that was prominent in the time period from 1967 through 1971. Clearwater, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Oh, don't be shy, Clearwater. For once in your life, have some balls, huh?
Hi.
Yeah.
I want to talk about drummers.
Great.
Yeah, the best, Bill Kreutzmann, the Grateful Dead. I'm sorry you're having a bad day, Bob. Just hang in there. It can only get better.
Right. Let's go to, oh my goodness, all the calls are gone again. So I'll give out the phone numbers, 990-9352 in Hillsborough, 461-9352 in Pinellas. By the way, for the benefit of the last caller, who the rest of you didn't hear, who is now basically running back to his radio, sorry, fella, I'm a hell of a lot quicker on the button than other people at this station. Clearwater, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Best ice cream is at 58th Street and 54th Avenue North. Wish I knew what you expected from us out here.
Oh, it's real easy. I believe I told you. I believe I told you real clear what I expected from you out there is a little bit of support for these men and women who are literally risking their economic lives for what in essence is your ass.
Stand out there on a line near the airport.
To get off of your ass and try to get these people some unemployment compensation.
But you know, I called it.
I don't care why you called anymore. It's too late. It's too damned late.
Right.
You wish you knew what I expected from you people. I expect you to be adults.
Right.
I expect you to look after your own ass. I expect you to look after your own interests, and I also expect you to look after the interests of the guy next to you. That's what the hell I expect from you. There are two other stations. One of them's talking something concerning whether or not you should have wood or fiberglass keels on your sailboat. Try him out. He won't ask you to do anything. And the other one's probably telling you that he's not going to have an abortion, but it's okay for you to have one. Try him out, too. What the hell do I expect from you people? Are you serious? Are you serious?
Cereal.
I expect you to breathe. I expect you to open your damned eyes. I expect you to use that piece of gray matter in between your ears occasionally. That's what I expect from you.
I expected
This isn't any game. I came on here and as nice as I possibly knew how to do it, pointed out to you that there are a bunch of guys walking around down there at the airport whose asses are on the line. And in Tallahassee, there are some people playing with those lives, saying, well, gee, maybe we should give them unemployment compensation, and maybe we shouldn't. And there's only one way that the jerks in Tallahassee are going to get off their butts and do what's right, and that's if they hear from you. Now, nobody asked you to go to the time and trouble of taking up a piece of paper and writing something with a pen. Nobody asked you to, hell, you might put your eye out doing that. Nobody asked you to invest 25 cents in a whole stamp, but simply maybe to make a phone call. Simply maybe to express some sentiment. Simply maybe to mention it to your next-door neighbor, and it certainly isn't your responsibility. And I hope that you're not taking this seriously or personally. No, this is all part of the entertainment of the program.
That's right.
And it certainly is not directed to you or the other 99.9%. As a matter of fact, do you know what I would like you to do? I would like you to forget everything that I've said as it might apply to you. And instead, perhaps go get your car washed at the Grand Prix Car Wash.
There you go.
Yes, because none of this applies to you. Get your car washed at the Grand Prix Car Wash, a fine organization, an organization that I endorse, and an organization that certainly will not, in any shape, manner, or form, make you feel bad for not sticking up for somebody else. They're in business for one reason and one reason alone, and that's to do the best damn job that they can possibly do on your automobile. And that's precisely what they will do. The best job that can possibly be done on your car in terms of cleaning and polishing and getting it looking like new again. There are 3 locations to serve you. In South Tampa, 3622 Gandy Boulevard. In Seminole, 10471 Park Boulevard. And in Clearwater at 1880 Gulf to Bay Boulevard.
And the car wash.
Now, they listen to the show, as you listen to the show. But don't worry. They probably won't bring this up to you.
Nah.
They'll just do what you expect them to do. They'll wash your car. They'll do it better than anybody else. The Grand Prix Car Wash.
Bob, the death toll has risen in the fire and explosion aboard the battleship USS Iowa.
It just never, geez, it never quite gets the job done, you know?
Like that thing on...
Then you have the one that has the big H on the front of it. It weighs 8 tons and costs about the same.
That's what it reminds me.
To tell you the truth, it's a fine vacuum cleaner.
Am I running late?
I mean, it'll get up to dirt. Of course, it'll also probably break your back while it's doing it. You'll have to go out and get a second job to afford it. Or there's the third kind of vacuum cleaner, the Auric XL. Weighs 8 pounds. Sucks up dirt like you won't believe.
Naive here?
I think you're being very sarcastic.
Bet your sweet ass I'm being sarcastic, sir. Try to snap you back into reality.
Oh, I'm in reality. I know that these corporations...
You live in a world of conspiracy of oil corporations in cahoots with Frank Lorenzo?
Of course. The oil companies, the American political system, the international political system is controlled by the oil companies. This takes all of their wind out of their sails.
Sir, is there any doubt in your mind that the oil companies would screw Frank Lorenzo if they could?
Oh, they would.
Is there any doubt?
Without any Vaseline.
Sir, is there any doubt in your mind that Frank Lorenzo would screw the oil companies if he could?
Yes, he would.
That's right, sir.
If the American people...
Are they, sir?
If the American
They're
people...
not in cahoots, are they, sir?
Well, they are.
They're not in cahoots, are they, sir? I mean, that was just something that you were kind of, making up as you were going along? Because it's what you'd like to believe. Because you live in a very complex world, sir, where you don't have any answers to any problems, so you make up answers as you're going along?
I don't think so.
And you tell me, sir, that I don't live in a world of reality?
No, I live in a world of reality.
Sir, the Tooth Fairy makes a lot more sense than what you're saying.
Bob Lassiter, News Radio 970, WFLA.
11 and a half minutes after the hour, 4 o'clock. Welcome back to Lassiter's Stroke. Yes, that's right. It is Lassiter's Stroke. My poor board operator and friend, Michael Serio, doesn't know what in the hell is going on this afternoon. I mean, he's walking around making, signs of the cross because he doesn't know where I'm coming from. Worked with this man for over 3 years. I was driving home last night, and while driving home, I was listening to this radio station, and I heard a news story about the state legislature, the Senate in particular, giving some serious consideration, or consideration period, to extending unemployment benefits to the men and women of Eastern Airlines. And I thought, wow, that's a good story. I thought, wow, that'll be something to talk about tomorrow. I came into the house last night. Mary and I were going to go for a walk. And before I even put my briefcase down, before I kissed my wife last night, I went over to my desk and I made a note so that I wouldn't forget about it. I put down actually it was on the back of an envelope. I put down EAL/unemployment Ben, BEN. And then I kissed my wife good evening. I'm a very, very naive man, I suppose. I'm a man that I guess lives in some kind of a really bizarre little world of my own making. Because I really thought that you guys would want to talk about it one way or another. I really thought that in some of you, it would instill a certain degree of passion to help these poor bastards. And I thought in some of you, it would instill a very strong negative emotion. And I thought that maybe there might be some conversation available in this. Some conversation where both sides might gain a little foresight, a little knowledge. I honestly didn't realize that you couldn't care less one way or the other. I really missed that point. I thought that most of us, at some time in our lives, had faced some terrible, terrible, terrible career or job crises, or some awful, god-awful economic crises. I thought that most of us, at one time or another, had experienced a period in our lives when we were afraid to answer the phone because it might be a bill collector, or afraid to answer the door because it might be a bill collector or somebody there to shut off the cable TV or whatever. I thought that most of us at some time in our lives had gotten up in the morning and rushed to the window to see if the car was still there, or if the bank had come and taken it back. I thought that most of us at some time in our lives had gone for a period of eating things like macaroni and cheese or Bisquick for supper. I thought that most of us at some point in our lives had wondered whether or not we'd ever work another day at our chosen profession. I thought that this was some common ground. Some common ground that we might have all shared. I thought that perhaps at some point in our lives, most of us had done things that ended up biting our noses off, but we did them for principle. I thought. And therefore, I thought that a lot of us would have some compassion. And might take a moment out of our busy little lives to, I don't know, drop a line or make a call to a state senator, or maybe a call on a talk radio show. And then I thought that the people who were dead set against this would also want to enter into some type of reasonable conversation about it. And so I laid it on the line at 3 o'clock, and I just told you where I was coming from, and did so with a degree of style and grace and even humor. Mentioned one or two other things along the way. And I look down and I see one miserable call on the board. And it's a well-meaning guy, but he wasn't even too sure of what I had said. And I'm positive this time I spelled it out clearly. I mean, my notes here, the last two lines literally read, the state legislature is wrestling with the question of whether or not to allow EAL employees to collect unemployment benefits, ... plain and simple, comma, what do you think? Now, I'm sure I spelled it out, because I know I read it. Okay, I didn't say ... But I'm positive. And like I said, I thought that most of you at some point in your lives had gone through the things that the people that work for Eastern Airlines are going through right now. It's called fear. Fear of losing everything that you have. Fear of never working another day in your chosen profession. Fear of never being able to provide for your family the way that you once did. It's called fear. It makes you sweat. It makes you tremble. It keeps you awake at night.
The working man doesn't stick together. Who's going to look out for him? Nobody.
Well, obviously nobody. Man who is a working man's not going to do it for himself either. If this show is any type of vindication.
That's what I mean. They're selfish and complacent, and just let them happen to them one day, and then they won't. Then they'll be crying.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I got to get to work. Thanks.
Take care. Don't want you to lose that job. Largo, no, I take that back. It's Tampa. Tampa, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
As a working guy who's been out of work before, I have some compassion for these people. It's not nice to see your paycheck go away. And I agree with you. There's a lot of people around here that don't really care. It was kind of thrust upon me, and it's a fearful feeling to know that nothing is coming in and you don't know where you're going to get it. And just, I haven't called you in a while, but, been busy, changed shifts, and
hello, Kansas City.
I feel for
I
these
know
people.
how it is. You get busy.
Well, yeah, that's no excuse, I know. But I feel for these people. I mean, I don't fully understand why, but I know people who've worked in the airplane industry in the airports, and it's a very stressful job. And these people say, well, they strike for $16 an hour. Well, go do their job and see what you think, Look at an airplane full of people taking off and say, well, I just fixed the engine on that. I hope it lands where it's going to. Or sit in an air traffic controller thing and bring planes in all the time. See if you like that. Those people probably don't get enough money, like a lot of jobs, but, they did what they thought was right, and that's what is unemployment there for, but for people who don't have, are in between work or whatever. I don't know how it applies to people who strike, but,
Well, as a general rule of thumb, people who strike are not entitled to unemployment compensation, and as a general rule of thumb, I have no problem with that. This is not a general rule of thumb.
Right.
Thank you very much, my friend. Well, speaking of rules of thumb...
Speaking of friends, huh, Bob?
Well, rule of thumb. Gary McHenry with the WFLA Airborne Traffic Report. A dangerous one at that.
I guess so. Sorry, television, Mr. Friend. I-275 northbound just about... That should be wrapped up very shortly as wreckers are on the way. And I'm Gary McHenry, right over Oldsmar. 970 WFLA Airport traffic.
Hey, Willard Scott here at the supermarket.
Willard Scott, you're right.
Ever in my entire life seen. It made no sense. It has no rhyme. It has no reason. No wonder you people report striking workers at Eastern. Largo, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Good afternoon, Bob. How you doing?
Oh, just fantastic, Largo. It's one of the better days of my life.
I'm a new blood caller to your show.
Great.
By the way, I hate Al.
Dumb show. Dumb, cereal.
He doesn't have any legs.
Well, even does Alf.
I guess the reason I'm calling in today is to fess up and take my licking like a man, I guess.
How's that?
Well, to begin with, I'm behind the Eastern strikers 100%. I believe they should be compensated. This isn't their fault at all. They've been forced out of their jobs. They took pay cuts, didn't they, in the past? Whatever.
Very severe.
They've been taking pay cuts, and they've been going to work. They've been up until a certain... you can only take so much, right? They've been going to work. The planes have been getting off the ground. They've been getting fixed. The airline has been running. What are they going to say? They're running late and stuff like this? Every airline does, right? But,
what? No, the airline's not really running right now.
Well, if they're going to say, people weren't working up to par, arriving late, airlines, all this type of thing. But that's with every airline. What I'm trying to say is those people were doing their jobs, right? Pay cuts or none.
That's right.
And I think they should be compensated. There's no two ways about it. But, I'm just another good-for-nothing SOB that sits over here, all talk, no action. I didn't get off my tush and go over there and, see those guys in Tampa.
Hardly anybody did.
Well, I have to admit, I was listening that day you were trying to get people over there, and I was thinking of going over. Of course, I really couldn't. The circumstances were, but
I want to go with the
I
ice
thought of it, and then I was thinking later. I said, well, hell, what am I going to go over there for?
All those thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people retired in this area on union pensions, and only a handful of them showed up, and I need a handful.
Yeah. Well, the reason I didn't mean that. Why would I go there? The thing is, if I can't go over there on my own accord, if I have to go because Bob Lassiter got on and made me feel like a jerk and got me over there, that doesn't mean anything, does it? As far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's a personal decision, and I respect it if that's your personal decision.
That's how I felt, and I think they should.
I would have respected it a lot more had you showed up the following night when I wasn't there.
When you weren't there?
That's right.
Yeah, well, I had to pick up my stepdaughter, so sometimes I can't do things like that. And I'm a small self-employed, I have a small business. And I know what it's like sometimes to be waiting for the phone to ring, hoping for business to come in the door. In my business, it's feast or famine. And when it's famine, you have to spread yourself as thin as you can. And I don't enjoy it at all. But I've always wanted to, have my own business so I don't have to get stuck with somebody like a Frank Lorenzo.
Yeah, you see, the point of the matter is that, yes, you're a new young businessman, and I applaud you and wish you all the success, and will do everything to help you that I possibly can. But for you to succeed, those guys at Eastern have to keep their jobs.
Exactly. I know that. And I don't want them to lose their jobs.
Because the more Lorenzos there are, the harder it's going to be for you to succeed.
Well, see, it's not going to make any difference in his lifestyle, no matter whether they close down or stay open or what.
Oh, sure. It's a blow to his ego.
Huh?
It's a blow to his ego.
That's what I mean. Well, it's not going to hurt his lifestyle, so who cares about his ego?
Probably not.
I mean, he's still going to live the same.
Probably, maybe even a little bit better.
Well, that's true, too, because he's just going to make a bunch of money. But can I say one other thing? I was very, very pleased to have met you the other day at the Renaissance Festival. I came up to you and Mrs. Lassiter just before the show was beginning at noon. You were sitting there together, and I walked up and just said, "Hello, Bob." You said you didn't have time to talk, but you very graciously shook my hand, and I appreciated that very much.
Well, I'm glad you appreciated it.
And Mrs. Lassiter had to be the most beautiful lady out there.
Oh, Bishop.
She was looking great. I was trying to make eyes at her when you were walking in the parade, but I wasn't really, don't get me wrong. But it was great seeing you. And you look very happy together. I think she's hooked on you.
I think so, too. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Sophie
Have a nice
the
day.
door.
You too, Seminole. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello?
Hi, Seminole.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Lassiter.
Yes, sir.
I'm not a resident of the state of Florida. I'm just
Get the hell out.
this week, and I just happened to tune you in this afternoon. I would have called earlier, but I couldn't get to a phone. And I would like to make a comment on the Eastern Airlines strike situation. I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for the machinists union.
Well, I guess, sir, that's because you don't appreciate people that stand up to guys like Frank Lorenzo.
At the level that I feel the machinists union, I've never made the kind of money the machinists union makes.
Oh, so that makes a difference because they make more money than you do.
Well,
so that's why you have no respect for them because they make more money than you do?
No.
That's nothing I've ever heard,
I don't believe that striking.
Thank God you are just a tourist.
I don't believe that strikers should be collecting unemployment. That system was set up.
Yeah, because they make more money than you do.
I'm sorry?
Because they make more money than you do, sir?
No, not
then necessarily. Then why did you bring it up, sir? What difference does it make? You said, sir, I have no respect for them. You said, sir, I have no respect for them because they make so much money.
I didn't say that. You did.
No, sir. You didn't. If you'd like, I'll play it back to you.
I said I do not.
If you'd like, sir, I can play it back for you. Would you like me to play it back for you, sir?
Well,
I don't think so, sir. Bye.
Take a break.
Don Richards standing by at the WFLA news desk. Donald?
Supreme.
Free this week. You needn't wait any longer. This is the week.
Supreme
is the special, the deal. Come in, buy a Supreme, get 50% off your next Supreme.
How's that LED?
Makes it like 25% off each one. The Grand Prix Car Wash. What's a Supreme? It includes, of course, the full-service wash, the Turtle Sealer Wax, Turtle Polish Wax, and Turtle Pro Coat
Ricky,
Wax.
you bring your
the undercarriage wash, and the scent, and the complete Armor All treatment inside and out, including your tires. Make that car look better than the day it was new. That's no joke. The Grand Prix Car Wash has 2 locations to serve you. 1880 Golden Boulevard in Clearwater. In Seminole at 10471 Park Boulevard. And in South Tampa, 3622 Gandy Boulevard. The Grand Prix Car Wash, a service company that is interested in your business not just this week, but every week. Plant City, Appalachia on there at 970 WFLA.
Hey, how you doing, Bob?
Fine, thank you.
I don't think they should get any compensation for walking out on the job.
Okay, why is that, sir?
I mean, they choose to walk off the job. I mean, if they want more money, they can go work for an airline or... I mean, if I wanted more money where I worked, I would ask my boss, and if he said no raise, I'd certainly consider about...
Of course, sir, you are familiar with all of the various different aspects of this, of course.
Oh, but of course.
Of course, you know that they had been working without a contract, that Lorenzo had not been bargaining in good faith. You are aware of that, of course.
Yes, I mean, that's no excuse. I mean...
Oh, I beg your pardon, sir. It is an excuse.
Why?
Why? Because that's federal law.
Well, I mean,
when you have a union contract, sir, there are various different things that both sides are required to do.
Why does any other airline have problems with this?
A lot of airlines have problems, sir.
I mean, you never hear of Delta or any other big airlines having problems.
No, sir, because a lot of big airlines have already screwed their workers.
Oh. How do you know
Eastern just didn't get a chance yet to totally do it.
Oh.
They're still working on it. Unlike Continental or Texas Air, where they had already done a real good job on the employees.
So this is going to set a precedent for anyone who doesn't get enough money.
No, sir, it doesn't set a precedent for... They were not bargaining for more money, sir.
What were they bargaining for then?
They were bargaining to keep what they had.
Oh, wow.
They're bargaining to keep their jobs, sir. Literally.
Drop dead, fat pig.
Hey!
Drop dead, fat pig. Drop dead, fat pig. You know, God, when I hear people like you see, I'm a very special, very lucky man. I work in an industry where there's only one guy that's Bob Lassiter. There's only one man that's Bob Lassiter. Nobody else is Bob Lassiter. So therefore, nobody else can do my job. Yes, you can get other people in here, but they're not Bob Lassiter. Unlike you and unlike most people who are, frankly, sir, a penny a gross. A penny a gross. When I hear people like you, it makes me wish there were more Frank Lorenzos in this world. It makes me feel like such an ass for caring. I mean, even for 3 hours a day caring. It makes me feel like a real jerk. Because, sir, you deserve to be screwed. You deserve to have your dreams ripped out from your chest. You deserve to lose everything you've got. You don't care about the people at Eastern, sir. You just wanted to call me a fat pig. You don't care about anybody. You probably don't even care about yourself. You're too stupid to, sir. You just epitomize what so many people in this country have become. Apathetic, stupid, lazy, uncaring, selfish, greedy, jerks, assholes. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. I don't know when, but at some point in your lifetime, this bubble that you live in is going to burst. And if it was only possible, if there was just some way to identify you as an
in the next
individual,
Lassiter you'll hear
so that we could make damn
some
sure
other noise.
that when everybody else got together to help everybody else out, we could leave you, we could exclude you. Somehow leave you outside the system to fend for yourself. Somehow leave you outside the gates of the fort. 12 minutes after the hour, 5 o'clock. Welcome back. It's a Wednesday, April the 19th, 1989. Michael tells me it's a full you-know-what. Who cares? It's just, today it's whatever. Let's go right back to the phones. I can hardly wait to see who we have waiting to chat with us. Okay, Riverview. Hi, River. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
How you doing?
Great.
First time I ever called.
Fantastic.
Good. The point I wanted to make is that you might want to correct my figures if they're wrong, that there's basically 10,000 people involved.
No, it's closer to 30.
30,000 that are out.
Yep, there are approximately 8,000 machinists, plus the pilots, plus the airline stewards, and then, of course, the non-union people, which is close to 30,000 people.
Okay. And the current rate for unemployment compensation is about $200 a week?
In this state, yeah.
Okay.
Something in that neighborhood.
So that would basically mean $6 million a week that would be paid ultimately by you and me for these people who walked out on a job that basically, it pays better than most people can make.
So what?
So you think we should be spending that kind of money? That
No, not what kind of money we should be spending. So what if it pays better than most people make? So what? Does that mean if you pay a lot of money to somebody, you're allowed to screw them?
Well, no, you're not screwing them.
So it's irrelevant then, isn't it? It's totally irrelevant what those jobs paid prior.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that they
it is relevant then because they got a higher wage than you got, then it's okay to screw them then. Then it is relevant what they got before.
No, they aren't getting screwed.
Oh,
that's
they
my
aren't.
point.
Oh, what was the offer that Lorenzo made to them? Do you know what it was?
They were being paid.
Do you know what the offer was?
He wanted them to take a pay cut and less job security.
Do you have any idea how big that pay cut was?
No. Do you?
Yeah, I do.
What was it?
In the neighborhood of 20%.
20%. Okay, so if you're making $16 an hour.
On top of that, sir, they also had to agree that if Lorenzo could hire anybody for less money to do the job, bam, they were gone.
Well, that's what the free enterprise system's all about.
Free enterprise system.
If somebody can do your job for less than you, then you're going to have to, go down to that competition or move on to a better job.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. You see, when you enter into a contract with someone, and you offer to work for that person and exclusively for that person, and you offer to give them your all, and when you give them most of your life, most of your professional life, then you see there's an obligation on the other side too, sir. That's what the American system is all about. It's not where you favor one group of people over another, but both groups of people get equal consideration.
Well, these people decided to put their faith and trust in the union, and
they put their faith and trust in Eastern Airlines.
No, they put their faith and trust in this union.
No, sir, they put their faith and trust in Eastern Airlines.
Well, when Frank Lorenzo bought the company 3 years ago, with his reputation, they should have known it was coming. Anybody still around that had their faith and trust in Eastern Airlines is crazy.
I don't think, sir, people that have faith and trust in their entire lives are crazy, do you?
What? For putting it into Frank Lorenzo with his reputation, if they didn't go looking for another job,
then they
should have known it was coming. I mean,
ice cream, Bob.
Yeah, I should have known it was coming. I guess, 15, 16, 27, 31, 35 years of your life just doesn't mean anything. Just go get another job. Okay. Just give up your pension. Give up your seniority. Just go get another job. Look at maybe McDonald's or maybe Continental Airlines.
These people are making $16 an hour.
So what?
So it's not like they're going to walk out to, McDonald's.
Yeah, that's right, sir. They can't. That's right. They can't go to McDonald's, sir.
They were getting paid more than they deserved for their job.
That calls the hell out of you. They were getting paid more than they deserved?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Somebody throwing baggage down on the tarmac and getting $16 an hour.
Sir, are you aware of the fact that Eastern Airlines paid less than most other airlines?
Well, then all the airlines are overpaying. That's why it costs so much to fly.
I see, because you, sir, are a wimp and a weenie and can't earn very much money. You're really galled at those people, aren't you? You see, sir, anybody...
No,
you see, sir, anybody...
I just don't have any sympathy for somebody walking out on their job.
No, sir, it's not a matter of sympathy.
And then wanting me to pay for it.
I was in the middle of a sentence.
Go ahead.
It's not a matter of your having no sympathy for people who walk out on their jobs. You, sir, are just galled because they earn more money than you.
No, that's not true.
You're delighted to see them in the gutter now, sir. You're delighted to see them where you are, aren't you?
No. The thing is, they walked out on their job and they didn't have to.
Sir,
why should I pay for it?
Sir, what they did was, first of all, to call your attention to a disgusting and despicable and deplorable situation in this nation. And secondly, sir, there's something else that you and everybody else who have called in this afternoon who are opposed to this seem to forget. There are approximately 30,000 Eastern employees. 8,000 of those employees, sir, are members of the Machinist Union. So that means the other 22,000, either by contract, cannot cross the picket line, which is federal law, sir, or we're non-union Eastern employees. 22,000 Eastern employees, sir, are out of work.
They're allowed to cross the picket line.
No, sir, they are not.
Yes, they are.
They are not compelled to cross the picket line, sir. If they cross the picket line...
They're not compelled to, but they're allowed to.
Sir, again, I was in the middle of a sentence. You're starting to annoy me. They are under contractual obligation not to cross the picket line, sir.
So, that's because they belong to the union. That's
and there's another thing, too, sir, that you seem to forget. Frank Lorenzo, while asking the machinists and everybody else to eat dirt so that he can survive, never once went to his bankers, sir, and said, okay, look, you suckers, you eat dirt. No, sir, his banking buddies and his investors were never asked to shoulder some of the load so that Frank Lorenzo could continue to be a filthy, obscenely rich man.
No, he's an efficiency
Only
expert.
working class people, sir, were asked to eat dirt.
No.
And you, like a jerk, are turning against the middle-class working people in this country to back up scum. Scum, sir, who go in and raid companies and destroy jobs. And you, sir, don't even have the slightest bit of compassion in your heart for decent men and women who care to stand up and say enough is enough. Well, sir, I'll say enough is enough to you. But it seems as though there are never enough traffic reports at this time of the day.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Gar. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fine.
Gar?
Yeah.
Gar, is there any possibility of getting you to strike? Nah. Gary McHenry with an airborne WFLA bronze dangerous traffic report.
But you wouldn't support me.
People who smoke tend to stick together because there are an awful lot of people who don't smoke anymore and give those people who do smoke a lot of grief and aggravation. And people who tend to smoke tend to want to stop smoking. So you probably know, if you're a smoker, a lot of people who would be only too happy to stop it. I know it's a pain to go over to click, but most of the people who have taken part in this program so far, who are dead set against any form of compassion, are younger people. Isn't that amazing? People who haven't quite learned yet that life can be a little rough. Let's go to St. Petersburg. St. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Hi.
Before I get into the union thing, the guy from Riverview just called. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Unemployment compensation is not paid by you and me. It's paid by the employer, who is assessed by the state and the federal government.
Well, technically, sir, yes, technically, but it's a cost of business, and it's theoretically money that the employer doesn't have to pay to us.
Okay, and also $16 an hour is pretty good pay around here, but not in Washington or New York or Boston. So.
Well, on top of that, sir, not all of the people are getting $16 an hour, and besides, $16 an hour, $600 an hour is irrelevant if you're being screwed.
Well, this is very true. However, I'm not for the unemployment compensation for the union workers, because the union usually has what they call a strike fund that pays 95% of their pay.
Oh, sir, now you're making it up as you're going along.
No, sir, I am
Yes, sir, you are. First of all, the strike fund for these people is about $100 a week.
Well, that may be, but they're...
Maybe, sir, once you were in a strike where you got 95% of your pay.
UAW, Judge.
Sir, there are damned few unions that have strike funds like that.
UAW. That's the only one I'm really familiar with.
Well, then, sir, why do you say these unions if you're not familiar with other unions?
A union. But most unions do have a strike fund.
Yes, sir, they have a strike fund, but nothing like 95%, sir.
Well, that's, that perhaps then is an erroneous statement on my part.
Besides, sir, if they did, then they wouldn't be eligible for unemployment.
Well,
there wouldn't be the question, sir.
Strikers for UAW after the 6 weeks are eligible for unemployment. It depends on the state, of course.
And the circumstances, sir.
Right. Bob, I didn't go on strike. I lost my job because of a downturn in the economics. And for 3 months, I looked for a job. I was a data operations manager. I couldn't even get a computer operator's job where I was, so I came to Florida. And admittedly, I am working for less than I was making then, but I came down here and I got me a job because I'm one of those kind of people that wanted to work. So, and I've moved up a little.
Gee, sir, it's really a good thing that everybody doesn't take your advice, huh?
Well,
because I guess if every unemployed man, woman, and child picked up and moved to Florida, we'd really be in big trouble, yeah.
That might be. Well,
so
even the money I'm making down here, I'm priced out of the home because of the property values down here. But I like the climate.
It's okay, sir. So are most of the young punks who call in here.
Well, I'm not a young punk.
I didn't say that you were. I was just saying most of the young punks who call in are priced out, too.
Oh, could I digress a moment? Between 3 and 3:30, you had a young man that said he was in college. I hope he's listening, because I think he ought to make a tape of when he's talking to people on the air, because he must have said, 100 times during the time that he was on there talking to you. And I think our college people are getting into a routine of this, and you mean, and I mean, and all this, that they need to really watch the way they talk if they plan to get ahead in this world.
I'm sorry, Bob.
Thank you for listening to me, Bob.
Oh, anytime, sir, and I mean that with all sincerity.
I'm sorry. When I chatted with him, I thought it would be a good call.
Michael, that was an example of a good call. I mean, here we're talking about people going down the train. And he goes back to a call 2 hours ago.
Bobby boy.
Ready? Funny chance? Is he anywhere near the news booth?
He's sitting in there.
I can't deal with this. Let's give it to him.
5:29 now at 970 WFLA.
People have been known to go to Calb's Cove for the oysters in the rough or the chicken supreme, but other people have been known to go to Calb's Cove to say, hey, thanks for all the support. People go to Calb's Cove for all kinds of reasons. Great food, Professional, personalized table-side service. Dynamite flambe desserts. Cobb's Cove. Great place. For great people. Let me give you the address, please. 13155 Gulf Boulevard. 13155 Gulf Boulevard in Madeira Beach. The telephone number is 393-3448. 393-3448. So no matter if it's for the Caesar salad or just to say I love you, the intimacy, the tableside service, Cobb's Cove. It's a fine, fine place. You can do no better. And by the way, don't forget to stop in the piano bar when you're through with your dinner. Cobb's Cove. Back to the phones we go. Not quite sure why, but hey, it's what I get paid for, right? Downtown Dave. Downtown, how you doing there?
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Hey, first, before I say the thing that everybody's missing, I want to thank you. You had endorsed a certain vacuum cleaner. And the Oric.
Yep.
And I bought one for my wife. And we had one of the other ones. I won't say which one, like abiding by what you say is polite, but it was the K model. And this vacuum is unbelievable. My wife is tickled to death with it. She just really loves it.
Well, fantastic. I'm sure that.
So, I thank you. In fact, I told the guy that.
Have you tried using it yet? I know that you're a pretty macho guy, but have you tried using it yet?
Yeah, I have. It was my decision to buy it. My wife's really happy with it.
Another one of those cases where when the man gets involved in the women's work tools, the best work tools get purchased. Okay.
Yeah, you got the right tool for the right job. Listen, the point is being missed. It's not a point of money. It's not a point of union. It's a point of clients. If anybody's ever listening in the listening audience ever been in a third world nation where there is no middle class, they would understand why the United States was founded to begin with. Because we had a squeeze situation, our forefathers in the other countries, where the rich people were totally dominating and destroying any likelihood of ownership or livelihood that we had. And this is what it is. I'm not particularly pro-union. I used to belong in the union and everything, but I'm doing better where I'm at.
Is this the original Downtown Dave?
No. Nope.
Oh, my God. Oh, jeez. I'm sorry, sir.
You were being shocked, weren't you? You thought it was somebody else, didn't you?
Oh, my God.
No, he asked me where I was, and I told him.
Oh, okay.
And apparently he misunderstood my voice. But no, sir, I'm not that man for sure.
Oh, my word.
Anyway, the point with Mr. Lorenzo is he is one of many of his class, and it's not just him. It's just nationwide. That they're going in, they're milking the profits out of these companies, and they're dumping the employees that made the companies.
Well, there's even something a little bit beyond that. People seem to be so appalled. What? Take tax funds? And that's in essence what they are. And, give them to these workers? Well, my goodness, we give all kinds of tax breaks and tax advantages and frequently even tax payments to guys like Lorenzo and think nothing of it.
Right.
Well, wait a second, he's an entrepreneur, so that's okay.
They need to ignore the economic part. Let's look at the future. This country is built on the middleman, the middle-income people. If it wasn't for us, they wouldn't have any money to spend in Washington. And the thing is they're trying to squeeze us out. They're trying to take us for everything possibly they can, and it's really disgusting.
Well, the sad part, what is really disgusting, sir, is that they get the help from the very people that they're trying to do in.
All right, there's one more thing I'd like to say to you. You were in Howard last week?
Yeah.
Did you notice that real fancy railing that was all around the walkway there?
Well, of course, you can't help but notice it.
Yeah, I put that up.
All right.
And then all the stone on the outside of the main tower itself and the cover on the walkway and the pavilion, I also did that. I work for a local steel erector, and we hang precast as well.
Fantastic. You did a good job.
Well, Bob, I like your show.
Thank you,
keep it up. More people got to look through. Instead of looking at the surface of the problem, they got to look to the root. And the root is the rich people are going to take this country over, and we're going to be right back where we were in 1776.
Thank you much.
All right, bye.
Take care. Off it is now to St. Petersburg. I was almost heart failure with Downtown Dave. St. Pete, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob.
Hi.
Yeah, I think they should get the unemployment. They deserve it. They've been ripped off, cheated out of their jobs. They deserve some help. They're sure not getting any from anybody else. They're on a leg all alone. And, I kind of sympathize with them, and I hope that, I'd like to see Lorenzo be kicked right out of business. He don't deserve to be in business.
Well, it's not just Lorenzo. I'd like to send a real clear message to a lot of other guys that you just might get burned. if you try to pull a stunt like that in the future.
He funneled tons of money out of Eastern right into Texas Air. He didn't care about these people's jobs, and these people gave everything, and they're getting nothing. They're being robbed. And how anybody can say they don't deserve any help is beyond me. There's just no passion left down here, I guess.
Well, there seem to be two things that are reoccurring over and over again, at least in terms of this conversation. First of all, there's resentment that the people earned a living wage. And secondly, it appears to be, for the most part, the people who are opposed to giving these people any compassion at all are relatively young. I guess they just haven't been kicked in the teeth yet. And what a shame it is that you have to get kicked in the teeth before you have compassion for somebody else.
Yeah, that's real sad. But again, if the court system thinks Lorenzo is ever going to make a business work, it's ludicrous. A man, he's done. Because these people from Texas Air, they're not going to work for him much longer either. They do the same to them. He's just to gain his own personal wealth through this way. There's got to be laws, but he's not getting caught. And I hope the justice system puts him right through it.
How much longer we can allow these pigs, and I don't use the word without advisement, how much longer we can allow these pigs to dismantle U.S. industry, to take U.S. jobs and destroy them, make them disappear, is beyond me. And then still have the majority of the people behind these pigs.
Well, then again, we go back to the voting polls. So that's that. They're the ones putting it up for these guys, and they let them get away with it. So maybe there'll be some justice if people get out there and do something about it.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Take care. Let me tell you about the Grand Prix Car Wash. The Grand Prix Car Wash, to the best of my knowledge, the finest car wash in the entire area, possibly in the entire nation. Why? Well, it's simple. It's because the Grand Prix Car Wash is an organization that's out to please you. And that's what makes them so good. You see, they take it real seriously. They're not just trying to turn over customers week after week after week. They're trying to keep their customers week after week after week. And to do that, they've decided that the best way is to use the best products, the finest machinery, train the help, get involved in quality. Sports Huddle, Ted Carreras. Largo, hi, Larg. You're on the air at 970 WFLA.
Hello, Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, say, I'm a first-time caller.
Great.
And I've admired your program for some time. What I want to say, doesn't this Lorenzo remind you of the robber baron of the early 20th century?
Well, yes, he does. I'm just not quite sure what the good folks in the state of Florida remind me of, who don't seem to want to have any compassion for people going through a real rough time. Lorenzo, that's understandable. Lorenzo is personally profiting. I just don't understand why people sitting in Largo and Pinota-Sassa and Tampa and Holiday and Sarasota and other little burgs around the area just couldn't care less about people just like themselves.
Well, we had a great communicator, and I think he is. This is a result of the great communicator.
I doubt it very much, sir. I would assume that the great communicator was a result of people who don't give a damn about people like themselves.
Well, he snowed the middle class.
Well, sir, I think the middle class created him.
Well, Bob,
he was their spokesman.
The only thing else I wanted to say, I think with your talent, the St. Pete Times could use a column by you. That would be great if you could write a column for the Times.
I never worked for a newspaper, sir, that carried gun ads.
Well, that was my opinion. I think we need it.
I appreciate the opinion, but I could never work for an organization that carried some of the ads that they carry. People think the St. Pete Times is an ultra-liberal organization. Bull. They're anything but. They might have an ultra-liberal op-ed page, but that's about as far as it goes. I mean, they carried ads in there the last couple of weeks from a lunatic that weren't even true.
Well, we need another Nolan Mailer,
Whatever. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Take care. Off we go now to Largo. Hi, Larg. You're on there at 970 WFLA.
Hi, Bob. My name is Rob, and I'm part of the new blood you've been talking about. I got home late today, so I'm going to get right to the point. I'm in favor of the striking Eastern unions collecting their unemployment benefits, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think the people in Florida, there are a lack of unions in Florida, and people don't understand what a union is, what it does, and why it is created, which I think is part of a conspiracy by, some kind of, I use that term loosely, but that's the only thing I can think of right now. By the government to do everything in their power to lessen the grip of unions. there are a few powerful ones left, UAW, for example, et cetera, et cetera. But I think it's ironic how the government of the U.S. is doing everything in its power for solidarity, which is a union in a communist country, but doing very little for our people over here.
Well, it's not the only union, too, because remember Ronald Reagan, with tears in his eyes, told us, we had to send money to the Contras in Nicaragua because the people in Nicaragua couldn't form labor unions.
Correct. And I'm really sorry I was too young to vote at that time. But, and look what's...
I was kind of sorry I wasn't close enough to throw soft tomatoes.
Yeah, I hear you, Bob. That's all I really have to say, and I'll let you get on with your show. Hang in there.
Thank you very much. Be good.
Take care.
Holiday, you're on the air at 970 WFLA. Hello, Holiday.
Hello, Mr. Lassiter.
Yes, sir.
I'm a first-time caller, and I'm nervous as all heck. But first of all, I'd like to say that I admire you very much. You've enlightened me and informed me to no end. I haven't really done anything to support the Eastern Air employees, but you've, as I said, enlightened and informed me, and I'd like to know who it is I should call. I live in Holiday, to support the Eastern Air employees, to get their
Your state senator, sir.
Pardon me?
Your state senator. You'll find his phone number in the front portion of your phone book.
Okay.
Blue pages.
All right, and I'd also like to say that I think that most of us don't really realize the power that we do have just by speaking out.
Incredible power.
The pay hike for Congress is a very good example. All right, now we have them cutting their own throats, trying to show us how sincere they are. And we're really finding out how sincere they are about taking care of our endeavors. Also, as far as Lorenzo's profit goes, I'd like to say that I think that could be rendered useless if everyone, including the pilots, employees, and the public, simply boycott all the planes that he has, whatever he sells off to anybody else, if they think they're going to use it to make a profit, and also creating profit for Mr. Lorenzo.
I know that you think that you're well-meaning in what you're saying, but you understand when you get involved in boycotts, you end up hurting people who are innocent. You're not going to hurt Lorenzo.
What I'm saying is not boycott the industry that buys it, but boycott the property, etc., that Mr. Lorenzo has sold at a profit. And if that's known beforehand, before the property has been bought, that no one will utilize this property, pilots won't fly these planes, mechanics will not work on these particular planes, etc., who will want to buy it?
My friend, I thank you much. Take care. Be good for the rest of you tomorrow.